reckless. The Fire and Police Commission would not comment on the lawsuit, citing ongoing litigation. The new policies will take effect on May 1st. The Milwaukee Police Department is expanding its downtown surveillance camera systems to increase safety. Police Chief Jeffrey Norman announced that MPD is repairing its existing security cameras and installing new ones. The department is also working with businesses to access private cameras. Chief Norman says that the surveillance technology helps the department prevent downtown crimes such as car break-ins, especially as MPD faces staffing challenges. The department is funding the expansion with part of the $2.2 million in federal American Rescue Plan Act dollars. Governor Tony Evers allocated the funds to violence prevention efforts. The deadline to use the federal money is June 30th of 2023. 2 Milwaukee teenagers were injured after a double shooting near 37th and Burnham on Thursday. Milwaukee police say that a suspect in a vehicle fired shots at another car, striking the 2 teens. An 18-year-old Milwaukee male was transported to the hospital with serious injuries. A 16-year-old male was also injured and taken to the hospital. Police are investigating what led up to the shooting, and they are asking anyone with any information to contact them at 414-935-7360. To remain anonymous, you can contact Crime Stoppers at 414-224-TIPS or through the P3 Tips app. This was the news update on 1017 The Truth. The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next here on the new 1017 The Truth.
Bringing you his authentic perspectives on important topics.
They live in suburbs together. They live in the city together. They hang out together, all in the same family. We're the only idiots that fight because we want our voice to only be on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, have a voice no matter what because somebody that looks like them is always in control.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of judgment.
But answer my question, though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people up, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
This is The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. And all I'm asking the mayor and the Common Council president and the Common Council, show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio in Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. It is Friday. And because it's Pop-Off Friday, it's actually Truth Roundtable Friday. So I guess it's Pop-Off Truth Round. I don't know. I'm trying to put that together. That's not working. I have with me Mr. Linnell Ramey and the infamous Kyle Wallace with his computer on.
Yes.
Dr. Harris, what do you do?
What's going on?
Good to be here. Good to be here.
Oh, now I can't hear him. Is it me? Can you turn him on?
Am I on the right mic?
Well, get closer to the mic.
1, 2, check.
There you go.
I got you.
All right, there he is. 'Cause I was like, man, he doing it again.
Yeah, sorry.
Laid back Friday.
Right.
Laid back. So it's been an interesting week this week. First of all, if you have any questions for my illustrious panel, 833-212-1017 is the number. The infamous, the magnanimous Nolita Franz couldn't be with us today. She's
vacationing.
She's on assignment.
She's Got her feet up.
Put feet up. And Kyle Wallace is with us.
Yes, sir, Dr.
What's
Ken
going
Harris.
on? What's going on? This your day, man. You just been on the radio all day.
I had I had the show on ESPN last night from 10 to midnight talking about the Packers draft for our NFL draft coverage. Me and Ben Bruss on 94.5 ESPN, and then I did I did Nothing But the Truth with Melanie Ricks today, and now I'm here again doing your show. I love it.
Where the party at?
Right.
Yeah, I guess it's here. And I love your conversation and topics because it usually gets me going a little bit.
Well, I picked one this week because I knew you were really the aficionado when it came to higher education. And I think that we're doing some things right now that are kind of detrimental to the lives. And I want to really have a discussion, I guess, since all of us are college graduates.
Yes, sir.
And all of us are members of the
Best fraternity in the world, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
I was going to say the only, but
yeah,
The only one that matters.
only one that matters. Yeah.
Wow. No disrespect to our friends in the D9.
No.
But with all due respect, I want to take a serious look at college and see whether or not it's really for everyone. Is it? Is it not? Is higher education like an urban myth? Something we keep hearing about and we keep talking about, but doesn't seem like a lot of people go or a lot of people care. And on top of that, credit card debt versus learning debt. We tell people, don't get in debt, don't do this, control your credit until it comes to college. And we watch them put themselves in the $50, $60, $70, $100,000 range, and we act like that debt is okay. And it's dragging down our economy, it's dragging down our community. And when we talk about reparation, when we talk about, Kyle's going to wake up when I say this, paying off student loan debt, all of a sudden, it's an issue. And so I say, y'all hear my raggedy phone? Something broke in my phone, and now it makes a noise when I shake it.
You paid entirely too much for that to happen.
Well, I didn't pay for it, so I'm not really.
I was like talking about iPhone.
I don't know why.
He hates iPhones.
They the best.
He don't know nothing, but you don't know what he's talking about.
I'm not having this conversation.
We don't have a conversation. Okay.
Americans
Wait a minute,
think
wait
it's
a
the best. Nationally, across the world, globally,
Right.
iPhones are not the most popular phone.
So watch this. You ready?
Okay, what is? I'm ready.
Who cares what they think?
Bingo.
Who cares what y'all think? Thank you. Bingo.
Wait, you ready? You ready? Hey, boss man, this is my show.
That's very
Yeah,
true.
that's true.
That's all I got.
That's all you got right
should
now.
never
That's
mind
it.
me up.
That's it.
That's
That's all. Use what you got, man. Use what you got.
And so this whole thing about debt is driving me crazy. So I wanted to propose a suggestion and then have a discussion about it. If we're going to pay off school loans, make it a version of reparations. If you're going to pay us back, if you're going to release families and generations from poverty, but yet you keep telling us, go to school, it's a great equalizer, and then we get out and it's not equalizing anything, and we're stuck with debt, or we drop out and we still have all this debt. God forbid you went to HBCU and dropped out, because now you're talking 40, 50 large a year, times 2 or 3 years. Make reparations part of paying off school loans. Once you pay off the school loans, make them put half of the payment into a 401k or 403b for 5 years. Now you've got the best of both worlds. You got your debt paid off. You guaranteed they pay some kind of paying themselves to save up and have that. But then if you pay it off in full, all these houses we got in Milwaukee that are sitting around here with nobody wanting to buy them and this property, give it to them. And then guarantee they live here for the next 10 years.
That's a lot.
What do you think?
Hey,
Well,
that's a lot. No, I'm just saying it's a lot to process. I ain't got a problem with it. It's a lot to process, though. It'll be very interesting. I love the latter part of that conversation about the homes. I love that. Home ownership, we know, is a key.
right?
To financial freedom, so to speak. The idea about education and loans being forgiven, then portion of the payment being put away. That is a very unique idea that would be very interesting.
Well,
jeez.
And we talk about we don't train people up, which we haven't. We've done a poor job. I don't know about you all are, no, not older millennials, but well, you're not even a millennial, are you? You're X?
X. B51 this year.
So did they teach you all
No.
what they taught us in terms of financial literacy and checkbooks and all that, balancing budgets? Okay.
One thing I learned, I remember, is going into freshman year in college, having 10 credit card applications.
You filled out 10?
I think I filled out like 5. Because you get one, and then what happened is then you go to Boston store, and they be like, oh, this is for you. Like, literally.
That 20% got you, huh?
Gotcha. Credit was jacked by the time I was 23. I'm telling no lie, and I ain't ashamed to say it. Jacked.
Aren't most college kids credit jacked by the time they're 23?
And then, see, for me, and being an early father, by the time I was 23, I was a father of 3. So, I'm like, credit card, like.
So it was like hustle time.
Hustle. Everything was up. Everything was up for taking.
I shouldn't laugh. But if we're able to do that, if we're able to make sure that we can secure at least 2 of those 4 things, we talk about insurance, investments, real estate, if we can, and owning your own business, if we can ensure 2 of those, I think people will make it.
I love the idea. For a college student too coming out, say debt free and a home potentially. Just say that those 2.
Yes.
Let's just say debt free from college and you own a home.
Right.
So win. A huge win.
And if you move into the right neighborhood, you're talking about a neighborhood that will well, I probably shouldn't say this out loud, that will instantly become middle class.
What I would love about that, think about gentrification, right?
Right.
Think about what happened to Brewers Hill.
Ooh.
Think about that. Let's say there's an area in Milwaukee where the homes, to your point, are open and available, city may own or whatever, and they're giving it away to college students, debt-free. They're already coming out, no college, decent jobs, hopefully, potentially, right?
Right.
Be the next Brewer Hill.
So that's the thing. Are we talking about all students? Or are we talking about specific students? Or is this a targeted program for students that have come from a specific income bracket that you're trying to uplift? Because if you're giving a person who comes from has a household income of $300,000, I mean, they really don't need. I mean, it's nice to have.
Yes, they do because it's not theirs.
But they don't. Well,
see, you can't.
We no, but
let me let you finish.
Everybody.
Finish your thought.
What we're trying to do is we're trying to uplift those who already come from circumstances in life that aren't as well off.
No.
So that's not the plan. The plan is to give everybody.
The plan is to uplift
everybody.
The city.
Well,
that's everybody.
Uplifting the city, as Linnell said, this is the problem that's going to come with it. The people that take advantage to it are the people that sometimes have the not the wherewithal, but they may the mindset, and they may have the support of somebody saying, "Hey," the resources saying, "Hey, did you hear about this type of program?" And too often, when I worked in higher education and just working in certain places, we don't always, and this is low income.
Now, when you say we, low income or we black?
Low income, and I don't know, and low income black. I don't know what low income whites. I don't know their conversations. I'm not part of those conversations whatsoever, so I can't speak on that. But what I found is a lot of times we just were not knowledgeable of the things that were out there and available to us, and so by having something like this specifically for a specific demographic, that to me would be more beneficial because those that already come from a certain amount of wealth, they're already locked in, and they may have their bumps and bruises in the road, but they have a lot more opportunities to go through those bumps and bruises without having to really, really struggle. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, I come from middle class. My parents don't uplift me anytime they had opportunity.
But what we're ensuring is that you don't struggle ever. There's a difference with my children coming from me and my spouse and having a good upbringing, a private school education.
Safety net.
But
you aren't.
I'm not a safety net.
But you aren't a safety net. But you are. Your daughters. I don't know your personal business.
The safety net was giving them the tools they needed
exactly
so that they could become self-sufficient.
But then, so here's where I'll agree with Kyle. Here's where you are the safety net, the knowledge base. So your continuum of
But I'm
reminding
talking-
them.
okay.
So if I don't, to your point, when I was saying I didn't have a clue about credit,
But
right?
I watch you with your son now, man. Your son is slamming.
Right,
Come on now.
but thank God for mentorship.
Look what he got to though, right?
Hey, thinking about mentoring those who mentor him outside of me. but to that point, you're the safety net in that situation. So, so it's a twofold question. You said use reparations, which would be for every person of color,
Right.
and this would be an option for those who are coming out of college to use
Absolutely.
potentially as one.
Correct.
So again, I think then everyone gets it
Yeah.
and uses it in that way. I love the idea again. Like my daughter, she just recently graduated from Spelman, right?
Congratulations
Right,
on
and
that.
so you think about when you think about her, like if reparations were allowed for her, not only does she not have to worry about the low loans she do have because she's blessed that she didn't have a lot, but nonetheless, that's gone, and then say she has a home.
Correct.
That would be smacking.
Guaranteed, literally 10 years ahead at age 22.
Bingo.
Right.
That's smacking. That's smacking.
Oh, no, that'd be great. Like that'd be great. And I don't know anybody's financial business. All I know is
middle-class
I am
people.
in a room with two African American men that have ascended to great heights in their careers and are mentors and are leaders and have done so many things where my assumption is that, as you said, your children have the resources, knowledge base, and then, they probably, when it comes to what they learn, they're probably not coming out of college making pennies, you know what I'm saying? They probably have some support system where they can go and lean on daddy or mommy to be able to support them. Listen, I'm one of them kids. I didn't go to the well like that because I wanted to kind of do my own thing. But no, I utilized them. Like I utilize them. I'm saying I don't ask them for money, but I utilize them. And so
Right.
all I'm saying is this: is that Kyle Wallace would love to have benefited from a program like this, but if everybody can't have access to this, if there's limited spots, there's limited homes that you can provide, I want to be low on the totem pole for priority
Sure.
to be able to get access
Sure.
to this because there's other individuals that had to come from a little rougher background than me that this would do wonders for them more. It would be more impactful for them than would it be for me, life-changing wise. And that's why I just believe that we should focus on those individuals that may come from less, and now we give them an opportunity to start 10 years ahead.
Targeted universalism.
Before we go to break, but there are still a significant number of lower middle class people who struggle. Remember, college is for
What's the number?
college is for the smart poor and the dumb rich.
I'm smart poor.
There you go.
But
Me too.
Here's my question for you: is that what is that income level where you believe that somebody who is in the middle class would benefit from something like this? Because
Easily. Well, first of all, middle class starts at what? Last numbers I read was like $35,000-$40,000.
but tops out at one something.
A little more than that.
Upper, I don't know what upper middle class.
Probably
household income is what?
175, 200,
That-
down there.
Two-
right?
that's middle class.
So I would say 100,000. So that's only two people in a household making $50,000.
So a household income under 175
Sure.
benefit from this, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, anybody will benefit
Absolutely.
from it, but then above that,
Absolutely.
there's always a cutoff.
Right. And there's always a cutoff. When we come back, I want to know what you would have your children do today if they were. Well, I don't know. I'm going to ask Linnell Ramey. When we come back, if we were 4 years prior, in other words, if your daughter was graduating from high school today and not college, what would you have her do? You're listening to Truth Roundtable. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Linnell Ramey, Kyle Wallace. We'll be right back.
And that is Dr. Ken's Truth on the new 101.7 The Truth.
Milwaukee, we are in the heart of the basketball season, and we have all the local hoops news you need to hear. Get your weekly smile on with our Nothing But the Truth Basketball Report, brought to you by Bouman Orthodontics. On Nothing But the Truth, we'll keep you in the loop on all the local Milwaukee hoops news, from high school all the way to the pros. So don't miss your shot to join in on the hoops talk by tuning into the Truth Basketball Report on Nothing But the Truth, right here on the new award-winning 101.7 The Truth, brought to you by Bouman Orthodontics, the official smile of the Milwaukee Bucks.
This is your Financial Empowerment Minute on the new 1017 The Truth, presented by Northwestern Mutual.
The other thing that we should be thinking about is diversifying and getting money outside of your business. And so when we think about that, starting small, a Roth IRA is an easy account that you can open on your own. You can open with an advisor, and you can contribute up to $6,000 a year into a Roth IRA. And then if you're over 50, you can contribute $7,000 a year into that. If you want to contribute more money, you can open a SEP IRA. And these are good if you don't have any employees, right? If it's just you, the contribution limits are higher. And then if you start to have employees, then you can think about starting with a 401k. All of these options are going to be based on your situation and how much money that you're bringing in, but there's still a lot of different options out there that can accommodate you in your situation where you are.
Tune into The Truth every month for our financial empowerment interviews with Northwestern Mutual.
After 60 years, it's their last tour. The OJ's last stop on the Love Train Tour. May 14th at the Riverside Theater. Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, Grammy Hall of Famers, and Philadelphia soul icons. Tickets on sale now at Riverside Theater box office and at PabstTheaterGroup.com. The OJ's last stop on the Love Train Tour.
Reaching out for support is an important step that takes courage. At Ascension, Wisconsin, our mental health professionals are committed to delivering compassionate support and care at every step through personalized substance use disorder programs. Ready for recovery? We're here to listen and offer compassionate support. Start your recovery with our team by your side. Call 855-830-WELL, which is 855-830-9355.
When it comes to getting the smile of your dreams, you can't trust just anyone, so look no further than Bubon Orthodontics. Bubon Orthodontics is Wisconsin's #1 Invisalign provider and have been providing the best value for braces and Invisalign since 1993. With 15 convenient locations, you're sure to find one in your area. Give the world your smile by scheduling a free consultation today. Call or text 262-522-7447 or visit BubonOrtho.com. Bubon Orthodontics, the official smile of the Milwaukee Bucks.
You are listening to The Truth Roundtable on the new 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. With me in the studio is Linnell Ramey, and I was about to say Dr. Kyle Wallace.
I thought about it when I was at Marquette. Actually, my grandmother, rest her soul, love her, she told me I should do it, but then I left Marquette.
I speak it into existence. It'll come back.
Maybe one day. I don't know. We'll see.
Speak of those things that are not as if they are.
There it is. Come on now.
King Ken.
All right now.
All right, so your daughter just graduated from Spelman. Based on the conditions that are going on now, lack of reparations, lack of home loans being forgiven, all that, plus inflation, plus interest rates are through the roof. If your daughter was graduating from high school this June, what would you tell her? Run?
I think I still would tell her to do college.
Okay.
For multiple reasons. One is, it's also based upon your career, right? Like, what do you want to do? And we know, unfortunately, you can't get into some doors without it. Second, and I hate to say knowing what I know, her growth from a maturity and learning standpoint, in particular at Spelman, was just a beautiful thing.
Right.
Who she was when she left Menominee Falls High School and who she became when she became a Spelmanite, I think it's two different people at times.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's the one thing from college that is sometimes not spoken about, just that growth that you see. So I think I would stick to say, I would, based on one, what she wants to do, which is counseling and be a therapist. Second, the growth and the just the level of experience from self that she saw.
But would your thoughts on financial aid be the same in today's economy?
It would be, I would be more strategic, put it that way, in how we went about, seeking scholarships, aid that was non-loan driven, stuff like that. Knowing, to your point, knowing what we know and see now, more like we got to start when you're a junior. We got to start saving when you're a kindergartner. Like, you know what I mean? She doesn't have to take out those loans. So
what about, and Kyle, I'll get to you in a moment. What about going to MATC for 2 years and then transferring to Spelman?
I think that is a viable option. But again, knowing what I know now, her growth would have been stymied just because of what she needed in her personal life, I think. And I say
getting
that
away from Milwaukee, away from those
situations we had, things like that. Okay. Getting away from daddy for a minute, being able to grow and I think develop. She saw things differently, and it helped her grow to be isolated too from, I think, to Kyle's point earlier, knowing you got that back pocket person to run back to and Cotto and all that was gone. So,
but you should always have that.
Always, no, definitely, it's a must.
What Kyle feels,
it's a must.
I think that is something that's a weight that you just don't have. And that, for instance, I told my daughters when they went away to school, you can't get a job. Your job is 8 hours a day, college, go to school, right? Now, in the back of my mind, and I actually told them this story, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, you're ready when you're ready. Not when I'm ready, when you're ready. So at that point where you go, no, I'm an adult, this is what I'm doing, and you don't ask me, right? So my daughter just came back and said, oh, by the way, I got a job. I've had it for a year. I'm like, okay. And she looked at me like, what? I thought you'd be mad. I said, no. Right. You got a job because you wanted a job. You saw your friends having extra stuff. You had extra money just like them, but they were out working and earning it, and you were not. And that did something to her. And to this day, they both have a work ethic that's just ridiculous because they figured out if I work for it, I can actually do it.
And this is why college is important, right?
Yes.
Because look at for you, did your dad go to college? I wasn't sure.
Mother did.
Mom did. So not first generation college student, but the generation goes on, and you're always trying to leave the next one better off. Linnell, college student. Look at all the great nuggets that you're able to instill into your children, the learning lessons you're able to instill in your children. And not saying that the college degree is the reason why you're able to do that, because there's people without college degrees that are phenomenal. There's people with college degrees that are garbage. But what I'm saying is that I truly believe that the college degree, that diploma, when you look at statistics, you look at the higher participation in civics, in different, voting and giving blood and donating, when you look at the wages that you earn, when you just look at the overall generational wealth that you have, there are positive results that come from that. And you two are great examples of two excellent fathers with college degrees that are able to instill some things into your children that are positive, that now they can go on and your impact can last for generations that you won't see. And so that's why I think it's important for that college degree, regardless of the negative things that we hear about it and the money that it costs. I believe that there is a right way to go and save money and go to school.
Now, let me make a correction. My mother did not go to college. She had some college.
Okay.
But she didn't graduate. And didn't do all the, She took like a class or two.
Right.
But the difference was every single one of my cousins on my father's side of the family, literally, all of his brothers and sisters, living or dead, all of us graduated from college.
That's beautiful.
Every single one of us.
I want to say this too, I think where we're at in society, so two things. So I'm going to come back to the financial side, right? Because I think it's a scare tactic that's intentionally used, in particular with students of color from low economic backgrounds now. Like, yo, man, college crazy expensive, so maybe you should think about just doing
the trades.
Right.
That's
where I have a problem. I think every student should be taught so they can choose which one they want to do immediately. That's the problem I have where we don't see that. There's a lack of, in my eyes, a consistency that takes, in particular, young students of color and saying, I'm going to make sure you're college ready. Now, if you decide to go to college, so be it. Like, say you just decide you're going to be an entrepreneur out the gate, or you want to go to tech school because you love electric, whatever. But that's where I see the issue. So then the scare tactic behind the financial side is, man, Kyle, you want to go where? Well, I want to go HBCU, to your point, right? I want to go to Morehouse. I want to go to, and you like, man, you know how crazy expensive that is? So you should really consider this instead. Versus, like you said, how do we create plans and strategies to help you early on? But we don't do that. We wait till kids get to junior year to really start talking about a plan to pay for school versus it should be embedded, just like financial literacy should be embedded. I think as early as middle school, there should be strategies put in place around financing college. And then, if, whatever that looks like, but I got a problem with, them not educating, in my mind, all students the same to prep them for the next level.
833-212-1017 is the number if you have a question or you want to talk to this illustrious panel. You had something to add before we go to break?
No, my thing with that is I agree, is working in the schools, which you work with a lot of students, you understand that there are some kids that you can just, that the path of college is not it. And so I think, again,
but that's a snapshot today.
No. I'm saying,
pretty sure if I took a picture of each of you all at some point in your life, somebody was looking at you going, "Dude ain't going to
do it." They may not. But but statistically speaking, looking at the graduation rates, we'll say MPS, or we'll look at any there's going to be, in even the high performing schools. The high performing schools, there's a percent of students that are going to do somewhere else. Right, and so I agree with Linnell with the fact that we need to teach early, but then also we need to identify early. And this is my bold one. And working at higher ed, I got flack for this one. But a lot of times, if a kid is truant, not coming to school, or if a student GPA does not reflect that they're going to be successful in high school and it may not translate well to college, we need to identify those students and make sure, as Linnell said, we're providing them with a roadmap alternative. And that's where I think the schools overall in Wisconsin fail a lot of those students because they don't have an alternative plan.
I think they're comfortable with the current plan, which is you didn't graduate. When you talk about, and when we started with BLMA, graduation rate for black boys was like 48%, right? So it goes back to, like, my thing is, when you say identify early, I'm saying identify early to get them on track. Like we talk about third grade reading scores, they build prisons based on it, right?
Right.
And that so if at third grade, that's what I'm saying, I think they're comfortable with the alternatives. We know what the reading scores are. What are we doing differently?
Nothing.
So therefore, at third grade, there should be a different strategy that says, we got to make sure this population of students, because of X, they're going to struggle, so we need to do this so we can help them, right, whether that's being college ready. And when I say college ready, I'm saying MATC. Like, I'm not saying Harvard out the gate. I'm just saying it's an option out the gate when I graduate. Yo, bro, you can get the MA and then it'll help you get the X. So
the issue that people have with that, and this is where I feel like my generation is the result of it, but there's other generations ahead where people feel bad. Oh, you shouldn't write the kid off. Nobody's writing this third grader off that may not have the reading scores, but the reading score, and like you said, they build prisons based off those reading scores in the third grade, is having that. But that sounds too drastic because now you're separating these kids.
But just not in third
grade.
Let's wait till 8th grade. Let's wait till high school.
But you need to make sure that you're tracking these kids so they don't fall off, because kids can fall off in middle school.
We need teachers too.
So I think there just needs to be radical change, and we need to stop acting like everything is roses when it's not. We need to say, listen, based off of this number here, you ain't got to go to the kid and say you're going to be this based off of no, because that ain't just true. Because some people learn slower than others. But as professionals, they need to have somebody that can identify the track that this student may be on, and also look at the environment that they may be growing up in, and they need to make sure they have some type of resources and something set up to make sure that student does not fail, because that is the whole point of education, is make sure we're educating students and they're going to be contributing to our society in a positive way.
You're listening to Truth Roundtable. Linnell Ramey, Mentor Milwaukee. Kyle Wallace, Director of Content for the new 1017 The Truth. I'm Dr. Ken Harris. We'll be right back. Traffic, weather, and sports up next.
More of The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Wisconsin is as hard-working of a place as you'll ever find. There's a sense of pride, community, and work ethic that's second to none. People here are tough, but even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. At Gruber Law Offices, we won't stop fighting for you and your family. We've been here and will continue to be here for as long as you need us. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Are you looking for an opportunity to better the Milwaukee community? Do you want to develop your skills for a career or job? City Year Milwaukee is recruiting for its 14th cohort of AmeriCorps members. We are hiring young adults ages 18 to 25 to serve our amazing scholars in Milwaukee Public Schools. This opportunity allows you to serve your community and gain professional development, which will allow you to enter the workforce, your next educational journey, or even stay with us for a second year of service. Visit cityyear.org to connect with our local recruiters and learn how to apply.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the WIAA, are the 178,000 high school sports students in Wisconsin. And so we stand. We stand for the runners, soccer and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, administrators, and officials. We stand for the swimmers, football players, and wrestlers. We stand for the golfers, softball, and volleyball players. We stand as the national leader and advocate for high school athletics and all who participate in them and make them possible. Because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
Well, squads were able to clear the accident southbound 43 south of Brown Deer Road, so that's good news. Still seeing some backups, though, from Good Hope Road pretty much all the way down into the Marquette, so give yourself tons of extra time. We're looking at a good 23 minutes to get from Brown Deer Road into the Marquette. Now, eastbound 94 slowing down from about 84th Street through the Stadium interchange. The westbound side is going to be slow around 35th Street to about Mitchell Boulevard. Then you're opened up, you're okay all the way into Waukesha County. Southbound 41 is going to be a bit backed up from about Hampton Avenue down past Capitol, and then back on the brakes around North Avenue all the way down through the Zoo interchange. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast, tonight mostly cloudy, a low of 42. Tomorrow mostly cloudy, showers likely, a high of 53. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 1017 The Truth.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 1017 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Greg Matzik. The Packers begin the day with 3 selections in rounds 2 and 3 of the NFL Draft, including picks number 42 and 45 overall. With the 13th overall pick, the Packers select defensive end Lucas Van Ness from Iowa.
He did play like 1,000 snaps in the last 2 years, but it's 2 years of football. He redshirted his first year. So I just think there's a lot of growth there, and the physical traits are all there for him to grow, so there's no real limitation on him.
Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst. Rounds 4 through 7 will take place on Saturday. Brewers and Angels begin a 3-game series at American Family Field tonight. Hear the game on 620 WTMJ with coverage beginning at 6:07. And in the NBA, the Los Angeles Lakers and Golden State Warriors will advance to the second round of the NBA playoffs with wins tonight. This sports update presented by Associated Bank, proudly supporting our hometown teams. Member FDIC.
This is the Truth Roundtable on the new 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. Look, we got another minute before we got a break. Anyway, talking text line, Wayne said, Dr. Ken, for those of us who are able to have scholarships or paid off our student loan debt, how about granting a tax exemption for 15 years? Wayne, yeah, life sucks. I paid off stuff too, but sometimes we just got to start somewhere. But I get your point. Maybe 10 years. Because the issue we're having now is we don't have people on the tax rolls, and so now But what tax are you talking about exempting? Your homeowner's tax? I would say federal, but definitely not. Yeah.
But even with that, I mean, you start exempting taxes, and we start going into the deep, low-income families
who are not paying taxes, so it has zero effect.
Zero effect. You don't. I ain't paying. I ain't getting no check, so it doesn't help.
Yeah. Wesley said, good afternoon, Dr. Ken. What I have personally noticed is a lot of my friends, including my brother, spent over $200,000 getting their master's degree trying to figure out what they're going to do after college instead of simply going to a job they want and asking what they need to get degrees in to get that job, as where I didn't go to college. I simply started working humble jobs, and now everything I have is paid off. Cars, house, apartment complex. I have to give them credit. They're a lot smarter than I am mentally, but college only stressed them out more. But that's an anecdotal example. That's a small.
And which that's dope that he did that. And so,
Absolutely.
brother, kudos. But here's the other thing where when some people run off to do college, it's also to chase a version of themselves.
Ooh.
Like, folks are running to.
You sound like a mentor.
All right, exactly right. Like, they're trying to figure out things in life. And college for them is that way, and that means so when I think about, again, and I use, again, my own kids, but when my daughter says she wants to help kids by being a therapist, she can't just run and go do that. Yeah. So, exactly.
Because my daughter's a therapist.
And that's her role. So in her job, she not only chased something that she knew she wanted to connect to, and I think that's the other thing about college that doesn't get talked about enough. It is the ability for people to chase a destiny for themselves, and it really is. Like,
wow!
And you go to the college because you say, "I see this, I want to be this, and that requires this," and that's part of the game.
But that's a disconnect, and help me out if I'm wrong, Kyle. That's a disconnect from me seeing Kyle and Kyle doing it, and I want to be like Kyle. I think that's more important than me seeing the medical doctor on TV. And then you say you want to be a medical doctor, and I ask you, well, what classes are you taking? And the classes you tell me have nothing to do with chemistry, organic chemistry, biology, none of that, none of it. So, but if I see Kyle and Kyle is a medical doctor, I could talk to Kyle. Hey, when you go to high school, when you go to college, do this. That's a significant difference.
And we don't do that.
And we don't do that.
Well,
Go ahead.
You know, and that's the importance of the work you do and the work that mentors and going back to schools and talk. Yesterday, we talked to Central City Cyber School, who will actually one of the cleanup locations for tomorrow for the Tory Low Community Cleanup will be at. And Lauren Feaster, who a lot of people know Lauren, I can't remember the organization she works for off the top of my head.
Professional Dimensions.
Yes, Professional.
DJ Lolo, shout out to you.
Yes. Yeah. And she went there and she spoke to the kids at Central City Cyber School, and the other person from Central City Cyber School talked about how the kids were absolutely locked on to every word that she said. When I worked in higher ed, going to talk to these students, it meant more than just talking about college.
Correct.
It meant something else. Seeing a black professional that they can somewhat relate to, who's not the person on TV, but just a regular person from Milwaukee, just like them. And that's why the work of mentorship and the work of going back and just showing your face and talking and inspiring the youth can lead to changing lives. And that's why it's so important what y'all talking about, why we need that.
Listen, God, you preach to the choir, first of all. But
Correct.
I want
we
you
all
to keep
got
preaching.
multiple degrees.
Because I really, here's the thing I want people to understand about what you said, and kind of to Dr. Ken's point. Too many times we're allowing, how can I say this, dreams for young people to be visualized on people they can't touch.
Ooh.
And so when I'm dreaming
that's
to
my argument.
You know, so when I'm dreaming to be a Michael Jordan, and here's the best way I can say it. I grew up watching Michael Jordan. I wanted to be Michael Jordan, right? But guess what? Marcus Hines,
right there.
Keith Stewart, Brian Gardner, like when I was able to really touch them brothers and like be like, they was like, dude, you got to work on this, bro. Like, and don't get me wrong, I didn't hit none of their levels, but nonetheless, I said that to say, when you're able to touch someone that's close to you that can pour into you, it changes your thinking and concepts on everything. That's why, to your point, even at the cyber school, when people come to speak, and I want all listeners to hear this, it's wonderful when we go to speak. Here's the ask that I have. Everyone that came with you yesterday or today, whatever day that was, I want y'all to go back every other month.
Yep.
Every other month throughout the school year.
Consistency is
Sit down there for 30 minutes, have lunch with them, be like, yo, you remember when DJ Lolo was talking about X, Y, and Z? You remember when I said this? And they be like, yeah, but here, let me tell you this part of my story too. Because when we start doing consistency and they see me more often, it sinks in. The only thing I have about when we do the one-time speaking series and we get the chance to see an individual, it goes away after 3 months. Because now someone else done spoke, someone else done did this, da-da-da-da-da. We got to figure that out.
Oh, I love that. That's a challenge. That's a challenge. I am a person that will go speak, and then when I see, I try to keep up with. But that consistency of being able to be present, that's great.
Live.
You're listening to Truth Roundtable. I'm Dr. Ken Harris. We'll be right back.
More of The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is 1017 The Truth's Tory Lowe, and the time is now, Milwaukee. I believe the people who listen to the Tory Lowe Show are ready for real change in the community and love to bring all the smoke. Tap in, Truth Nation, to the Tory Lowe Show every day from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. on the new 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. The movement continues. Milwaukee Black Talk.
Hey, this is Steve Scafidi for Educators Credit Union. Being a parent can be busy. We all know that. Mind and Money from Educators Credit Union provides an easy way for parents to pay allowance, assign chores, and teach financial lessons all from their phones or computer with no monthly fees. Children and teens can even receive their own debit card, and parents can set limits and track spending. It's a win-win and just another great perk of being a member. Learn more at ECU.com, federally insured by NCUA.
Locked inside every Wisconsinite is a unique code that's shaped by your genetics, environment, and lifestyle. This code not only makes you uniquely you, it also holds clues as to whether you may be predisposed to certain illnesses like diabetes, cancer, or depression. And when you join the All of Us research program, you can get to know your health by receiving health information that matters to you. To learn more, visit allofus.wisc.edu or call 888-294-2661.
For the brave men and women of the United States military, it has been said that some gave all, but all gave some. At Tayback Law, we honor these sacrifices by working to ensure veterans receive the benefits they're entitled to. I am Monica Ireland Karras. I am a partner and a VA-accredited rep at Tayback Law. If you're a vet and you have been wrongfully denied your veterans benefits, visit taybackattorneys.com to set up a free evaluation. At Tayback Law, we fight for those who fought for us. Contact Tayback for the payback. TaybackAttorneys.com.
Carrie, where's Tori Lowe and Dr. Ken at? I'm trying to knock these commercials out.
How am I supposed to know, Sherwin?
Well, I'm about to do their parts because my impressions are on point anyway. This is Dr. Ken Harris from Truth in the Afternoon, and I want you to download the Truth app in the Google Play Store and Apple Store so you can never miss my show or any of the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Really, Kyle?
Sherwin, you are crazy.
Sherwin, your impression of me is horrible. Move. Give me my mic. I guess I'll just repeat what Sherwin said. Go to the Google Play Store or Apple Store to download the 1017 The Truth app today so you can take the home of Milwaukee Black Talk with you wherever you are.
Can't listen live? Download the new 1017 The Truth app on your smartphone today to catch up on all your favorite shows. Search 1017 The Truth on your Google Play Store or Apple App Store so you don't miss out on any of the action. More of the Truth Roundtable is next on the new 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon, Truth Roundtable. See, look, now we got a break in 4 minutes. See, it's all your fault, Rhea. You should have threw Kyle out. Man, we'd have my time.
Throw me out. Happy hour going on right now. Throw me out.
He's looking at it like, these people.
Enough said.
Stay in here, Kyle. Stay in here, Kyle.
Black Restaurant Week.
Can we get some? Can we get some drapes? Yeah. Listen to Truth in the Afternoon with me, Dr. Ken Harris, this Wednesday as I'll be broadcasting live from the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Milwaukee College Signing Day.
I'll be in the building.
Presented by Direct Supply. I'll be speaking with students from the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Milwaukee about their journey through high school to college. That's Truth in the Afternoon live from the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Milwaukee College Signing Day. Next Wednesday on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. What?
No, what does the day say on top of that one?
May 2nd, right?
I read it no matter what and
I
change
know
the
it's
words.
fine. No, I know it's fine.
The day say, see, he can't help not being the boss. It says May 1st.
Rhea told me, she literally told me, she said, I put all those things in this, can you tell him I put all those things in this folder? I don't want him to read the wrong one. I'm sorry, Rhea. I forgot to tell her.
I read, and I just adjusted the.
You did adjust it. You
right.
did. No,
so what's the big deal?
There's no big deal.
So why you bring it up?
Well, it was an A and B conversation.
But why you bring it? You brought it up.
To her, not you.
What'd you say, Kyle? It was A and B, bro. It was A and B. You worked your way into it.
But you brought it up. Okay, I'm done.
Can I make a shout out real quick?
Yes, sir.
So Boys and Girls Club. And I'm going back to a little point you made earlier about working with young people.
And by the way, Kathy Thornton Bias went in and slammed that place. She's doing a phenomenal job.
Oh, I think they could do more. Shout out to Kathy, but y'all know I did club 16 years, and so I still think I bleed blue. But nonetheless, they work with all kinds. So when you think about what Grad Plus is doing and working with an array of students, then you take the ones who are doing sports coordinator like my man TC or Mary Ryan, who's working with young kids who are like, Mr. TC, I don't know if I want to go to school. That's okay. Come on here, man. I'm going to teach you how to be a coach. I'm going to teach you how to do this. I'm going to show you how to do this. So they start thinking differently. So that's the one thing I do love about the clubs. It's every kid that can get there. Whether you're a 4.0 or a 0.40, you can walk in a Boys and Girls Club and find someone who cares and leans on you. I just wish people, one, would talk about the clubs more in general, because they're an untapped, I think, resource for Milwaukee that can be used more. I think there are like 40 clubs now throughout the city.
Wow.
Think about that.
Oh, that includes the ones
within schools.
Yeah,
so you think about CLCs and things like that. So I only bring that up based on what we're talking about, because I think that's another great spot where financial literacy can be taught.
Yep.
Because they teach so much. Yep. It's a great kind of resource for the young people. So.
Yes, it is. 833-212-1017 is the number. Bill said, encourage them to get into the trades. When we come back in the 5 o'clock hour, I want to know, well, I kind of already know what your choice is. Trades or college or both. I don't know.
Love that discussion. Love it.
But we have to have the conversation, because when you say college, I always say this, it's not either or, it's also and. You can go to get a trade, but still need to go to college so you can start the business.
Thank you.
And start your own plumbing company, become a master plumber. Like, I don't understand the disconnect, as if you think that people in college think the trades are less than.
Tell it, man.
If I had followed what my mother said, I would probably be making even more money, because she said, no matter what you do, learn how to do something with your hands.
Learn a trade. That's right.
Right? That's why I went to auto shop. I went to school when you had to take shop and all that stuff. So
me too.
Something we'll talk about in the 5 o'clock hour. Trades, no trades. Do we do trades?
All the above.
Or is it all of the above? And do we need to start steering kids on a plan that guarantees them the ability to either start a business or graduate from college, either 2-year or 4-year, and move forward?
You remember home ec? Home ec is a trade, but it was a trade.
Yes, it was.
Yes,
it was. And now I think they call those people. Wait a minute, see if I can get it right. I think we call those people who went to MATC chefs.
More of The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is 1017 The Truth, Denise Thomas, and the time is now, Milwaukee. The Truth Be Told with DT and Telly is so relevant. You deserve a sense of motivation, encouragement, and fact-based information that impacts our community every morning, and that's exactly what we're going to bring to you. So listen to Truth Be Told with me, Denise Thomas, every day from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Milwaukee Black Talk.
Truth Nation, spring has sprung and we're doing some spring cleaning. We've already cleaned up our lineup with brand new shows, but now it's time to clean up our Instagram. We've created a brand new Instagram page that we would love for you all to follow to stay updated on all things truth. We'll be posting exclusive content, behind the scenes footage of our team, along with different things going on in the community that you should know about. We're taking out the old and bringing in the new for a fresh start, and we want to bring you with us to this new beginning. So follow us on the gram at 101.7 The Truth today.
I noticed that my central vision started to blur.
Figures that are usually straight started to distort and become wavy.
What are these little dark spots with blurring that I'm seeing?
There's a blind spot like a blob over my vision now.
Is my vision lost forever?
Why did I wait so long to see a retina specialist?
Retinal disease can steal your eyesight, but it doesn't have to. Patients who seek care from a retina specialist in a timely manner have the best chance of preventing vision loss due to age-related macular degeneration or diabetic retinopathy. AMD symptoms to look out for are distortion or warping of straight lines, as well as blurred or loss of central vision. Patients with diabetic retinopathy should seek treatment if they notice the appearance of spots or floaters or blurred and distorted vision. Don't delay seeing a retina specialist. It's worth the visit to save your vision so you don't miss out on life's precious moments, like seeing your grandchild grow up, enjoying a sunset with that special someone, or reading a good book. Visit seeforalifetime.org.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel you attract people who tend to be compulsive or abusive?
Do you have money problems because of someone else's drinking?
Are you afraid or embarrassed to bring your friends home?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
More than half of all adults have a family history of alcoholism.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon
and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with Associated Bank. Your money works here. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is your 1017 The Truth News Update.
Hi, everyone. I'm Melanie Ricks with your news update. The Milwaukee Police Association has filed a lawsuit against the city after the Fire and Police Commission implemented a new policy that requires body camera footage to be released to the public in 15 days and to the next of kin within 48 hours. According to a press release, the Milwaukee Police Association believes that the FPC is overstepping its authority as an oversight board by implementing this policy. The association also called the decision reckless. The Fire and Police Commission would not comment on the lawsuit, citing ongoing litigation. The new policies will take effect on May 1st. The Milwaukee Police Department is expanding its downtown surveillance camera systems to increase safety. Police Chief Jeffrey Norman announced that MPD is repairing its existing security cameras and installing new ones. The department is also working with businesses to access private cameras. Chief Norman says that the surveillance technology helps the department prevent downtown crimes such as car break-ins, especially as MPD faces staffing challenges. The department is funding the expansion with part of the $2.2 million in federal American Rescue Plan Act dollars. Governor Tony Evers allocated the funds to violence prevention efforts. The deadline to use the federal money is June 30th of 2023. 2 Milwaukee teenagers were injured after a double shooting near 37th and Burnham on Thursday. Milwaukee police say that a suspect in a vehicle fired shots at another car, striking the 2 teens. An 18-year-old Milwaukee male was transported to the hospital with serious injuries. A 16-year-old male was also injured and taken to the hospital. Police are investigating what led up to the shooting, and they are asking anyone with any information to contact them at 414-935-7360. To remain anonymous, you can contact Crime Stoppers at 414-224-TIPS or through the P3 Tips app. This was the news update on 1017 The Truth. The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris continues next here on the new 1017 The Truth.
Bringing you his authentic perspectives on important topics.
They live in suburbs together. They live in the city together. They hang out together, all in the same family. We're the only idiots that fight because we want our voice to only be on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, have a voice no matter what because somebody that looks like them is always in control.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of judgment.
But answer my question, though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people up, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
This is The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. And all I'm asking the mayor and the Common Council president and the Common Council, show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio in Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host. If y'all can hear the conversation during the break, 833-212-1017 is the number. So Bill said encourage them to get into the trades. Mark said, so as a local contractor, I applaud you for making this a topic of conversation, Dr. Harris. Historically, our youth have been steered away from the trades, even discouraged from finding skills in this area, if you will. But honestly, youth can make a very good living starting out with an apprenticeship, then working their way up to journeymanship, which is $60,000+ a year. There is and always has been a gross shortage of minority participation in the trades and development industries. To that point, that are stipulations requiring minorities, a resident involved. They don't want that to be a topic, though. But the issue I have with it is as soon as I get into the union starts to stop black people from progressing in the trades.
Hey, first of all, shout out to Mark. So to your point, I think it's an awesome move to get young students involved more in the apprenticeship programs.
Yep.
But here again, for me, my biggest thing is I want to make sure young people have options. There's actually now, Mark, in most of our public schools, a lot more apprenticeships being talked about. I looked at some numbers yesterday.
But is it a real apprenticeship through the union?
Well, it's a
they
program.
play that because they play that game where you think you're in an apprenticeship, and then you come and say, "Well, the union didn't fund it, so you got to
go do this X, Y,
right,
Z. So
all over again."
But we're working with the state directly, so this is a good thing. Shout out to my man, Mr. David Polk, state apprenticeship director, where we're going to be partnering with them to do some things. But to this point, though, and I think I just want, this is just Linnell's opinion, I want our kids to have the choices and options to choose multiple lanes if they so choose, not one or the other. You talked about a little bit earlier.
But I think some of the lanes need to be together. We need to embed that apprenticeship into a business degree. When you're done, you can veer left or veer right or just stay.
It has to be something where kids aren't made to feel like it's one or the other. Right, like that. I think that's what we see a lot of.
Well,
you have to either, and it's
some of us are elitists who have degrees.
Yeah, some of us. This is true. I ain't gonna point no fingers, but to your point, I think whether embedding it or teaching it to the point of, you were talking about it earlier about shop class. Well, I remember home ec, and they're now sous chefs, right? Making great money. Like if we're teaching skills early, say in grade school, not even middle school, I'm talking grade school. Let them do a little everything. The impact, I think, is more tremendous when they get to high school and say, you know what, I really do love cooking. Now I can pick my high school based on that.
Right.
Now we can talk specialty high school a little differently when I've already experienced 8 years of something that got my skill set up. And we don't see that.
But we don't do school. First of all, school is for reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Reading, writing, arithmetic.
We've messed that up, right? We've changed the math. We told people, well, it's okay that you're accurate, but you don't have to be precise. That's great, but I don't want that kid to work anywhere near medicine, anywhere near anything, really. Anywhere. So why are we dumbing down education for kids that we think aren't going to make it? Kids have always worked best based on teacher expectation and being in a class of everybody being close to the same grade, and then you can raise that whole. Can you imagine being a teacher and having 4 different types of students in your class? A, B, C, and D students, where the D students look at the A student and say, well, I'll never be that, so why should I bother? And it just circles the drain from there.
But I think that's doable with only an understanding that it's a communal approach.
But it's not.
It should be.
But it can't be.
That
it's
communal
education.
word gets king.
Going.
It can't be.
My dean gets, whew.
I can't teach 4 different groups in one time.
But
it's impossible.
I think it is possible. Because I've seen it. I've seen it.
You've seen it in little anecdotal places, but as a whole,
I think it can.
Education is failing. If that's what they're doing, it's failing.
Well, I'll go back. I gave you the point earlier, right?
You push my button now.
I know. It don't take much, though. Kyle, we already know. It don't take much. He'll get going in a heartbeat. But
really?
But so we discussed this earlier.
Did I just get equated to a lawnmower?
No, getting started. Old school. But we talked about one of the criticisms that we're hearing about Coach Bud is the inability to change.
Yes.
He does not make adjustments.
Yes.
That's what we see in our classroom.
Correct.
A level of how they're teaching all students, to your point. Like your A student is still going to be an A student if you can be more creative in your teaching to help the D student.
Right.
And that's not happening. What we have is Educators are being taught in one way. They bring.
But we've been teaching that since
1900. Right.
And changed it in 1950. And
we shouldn't even have
black
stuff. Like we said, we don't have blackboards no more, but we put all these whiteboards, and we're doing the same thing with the whiteboards in the video about it.
As if that's going to do something different.
We have to change how we're teaching to reach that D student. And when I say communal, the A student, give them the luxury to teach their peer. That's why we love peer mentoring now. When young people are working together, it's a lift system. It's a lift. When we did BLMA at 2 high schools, we did it at Washington High School and we did it at South Division. In 1 year, we looked at data, just because, the district is data driven. We saw monumental gains. I shouldn't say that's the wrong word. We saw gains.
Significant gains.
Yeah, thank you. In everything, reduce suspensions, because that's the most important thing, unfortunately, in most school districts, in particular for black boys. But then we had an increase in GPAs, an improvement in attendance in 1 year in that mixed class format, right? And the idea was it was communal to the point where the A student knew the D student, i.e. me, needed some help. And then guess what? Because I'm the school kid, even though I'm a D student, the social skills, now we clicking because you're the A student, you're not a social. So it starts to create this circular approach to relationships within the classroom. So now the teacher understands I'm teaching here, but then the students know I got to help him because he's going to struggle with this. Right. And we saw those gains in 1 year, Callie. That's almost impossible in the education system. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when we put more efforts to that. Now, here's the thing. Teachers got to know how to do that. When you look at MPS in particular, 85% of the teachers are white. Of that, 75% of those are women. Less than 1% of the teachers are black males.
Right.
And studies show a black male in any class, whether it's white or black or mixed, students improve when they have a black male teacher.
Yep.
So when we start to think about ideas about going to college, going to, like I said, tech school, when you have someone who can relate to all students, now we break and eliminate the barrier idea of, yo, bro, you just should think about military only. Right? Like that, you can eliminate that when people start to understand students better. Let me get off my soapbox. Y'all, listen, man.
833-212-1017 is the number. I know I'm supposed to be taking a break, but we've been behind all day anyway, so I'm going to talk to Sonia. You're on the new 1017 The Truth. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful.
Good. So as a former MPS educator, I just want to say we are blaming the teachers for all of this dysfunction and lack of learning. It starts at home. Now, I can't tell you how many times we done had parent-teacher conferences, and we've sat there all day missing our own children's conferences, and have no parents showing up. But when we giving away stuff for free, like if we having like muffins for moms or donuts for dads, the line be around the corner. So as an educator, I want to say that you as parents are your children's first teachers. And if you're not teaching them nothing or can't take the time to help them learn, then you can't just continue to blame teachers for the failure. That's not fair.
I don't think we're blaming teachers, but Linnell, go ahead.
I want to say this, and thank you so much for being a teacher, because that's one of the most toughest jobs.
Yes, it is. We
appreciate, and I appreciate that. But I want to add this too. What we don't realize and what we forget sometimes is a lot of parents have trauma from school where they didn't feel adequately intelligent enough to even support their children. So when you ask me to come home, when my child comes home to say do anything, I'm like, I don't know what that is. I can't do that.
Because I didn't go to school.
I didn't go to school. I couldn't do that work.
Right.
So now you want me to come to school and then come here how I was a failure as a parent? See, at least if I come to muffins for mom and donuts for dad, you're not going to make me feel like I'm not parenting. But I do agree with you. Parents need to own a lot more responsibility for education, but there's a meet us in the middle scenario we got to figure out, because those parents who have trauma from high school or whatever are not going to feel comfortable even supporting their child because they don't know how either. But I do appreciate you, because your comments are validated, because I've seen it a lot too.
Okay, and I mean, that's fine. I understand, parents having trauma, but there is also a lot of information, a lot of programs that these parents can go to.
Correct.
So we have to
quit
making excuses for everybody.
No.
It's not just teachers. It's the MPS whole district.
Correct.
That's why I quit, because these kids aren't learning anything. When I was in school, it was one special ed class, and these kids really had special education. Now everything is behaviors,
Yes.
and we as teachers are correcting so many behaviors every day with all this MRP and everybody needs an IEP. Like, come on now, it's just getting ridiculous. These kids aren't learning anything, and structurally, it has to come from the inside out. But you are your child's first teacher, and it starts at home.
All right. Well, thank you much. I appreciate you, Sonia.
Of course.
833-212-1017 is the number. When we come back, Stretch from the north side on the talk and text line. Hetty is holding on. We've got Linnell Ramey, Kyle Wallace. I'm Dr. Ken Harris. We'll be right back.
More of The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Milwaukee, it's Denise Thomas.
And Telly Hughes from Truth Be Told on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
We want to make sure you join us every Friday morning at 8 a.m. for our Black Friday shout-out powered by We Energies.
Black Friday is your opportunity to call into 1017 The Truth and shout out your black-owned business and let Milwaukee know what you have to offer.
So hit us up every Friday at 8 a.m. to shout out your black-owned business on Truth Be Told with DT and Telly.
Hey, this is Steve Scafidi for Educators Credit Union. Being a parent can be busy. We all know that. Mind and Money from Educators Credit Union provides an easy way for parents to pay allowance, assign chores, and teach financial lessons all from their phones or computer with no monthly fees. Children and teens can even receive their own debit card, and parents can set limits and track spending. It's a win-win and just another great perk of being a member. Learn more at ECU.com, federally insured by NCUA.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the new 1017 The Truth. Here is Telly Hughes with his truth.
I have a question. Besides athletes and entertainers, who do our black and brown youth have to look up to? Who are the influencers and role models our adolescents strive to become? Because we all know there are no more Cosby shows or any other medium that drives home what a successful black household looks or operates like. Seeing is believing, but if there's a lack of positive portrayals of black men, then the unsubstantiated stereotypes will continue to be perpetuated and played out in society and social media. The absence of mainstream positive black male role models put our black and brown youth in a peculiar spot because they haven't been properly trained on what it takes to become a productive citizen, nor have they had the luxury of being exposed to the process. Like it or not, we all are influencers in some form or fashion, whether it's recognized by the public or just your immediate family and friends. We all must be cognizant of the moves we make because there's always someone watching, which in essence make you an influencer. Take that responsibility, put it near and dear to your heart, and no matter how hard the struggle may get, continue to lift as you climb. I am ready to take on that responsibility. Are you?
This has been Truth Takes on the new 1017 The Truth. Listen to The Truth Be Told with DT and Telly weekdays from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. You are listening to The Truth Roundtable on the new 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. My guest for the Truth Roundtable, Linnell Ramey from Mentor Milwaukee, and Kyle Wallace, Director of Content for the new 1017 The Truth. Everybody here got a master's degree at least, so I'm just saying.
Some educated brothers around here.
Educated brothers members of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
Yes.
Does it get any better than that?
No.
No, it does not.
No.
All right. Hetty, you're on the new 1017 The Truth.
Hi, Dr. Ken. Hi, the rest of you guests. I'm a retired MPS teacher, taught 6th grade, 7th, and 8th. And I want to say that in this current system, the way it is, the way it's always been, we could not teach multiple classifications of students. Number one, in 6th grade, I had students coming into 6th grade that were functioning or reading at pre-kindergarten level. And when you have those kind of discrepancies in the student's knowledge base, you can't be effective in the classroom. And so there's so much pressure on teachers right now that most of them are leaving the profession, and it's unfortunate. But, I like your concept, and it can be done if everybody was on the same grade level, even if they were D students.
So
that would work. It would be beautiful, but that's not the reality.
Now that you're not a part of MPS, how much, I don't know what word to use. My brain is saying interference, but I don't want to be that negative, but why change? How much interference does a union make in your job as a teacher?
They don't make interference. The union is necessary to represent people, teachers in the classroom.
No, that's not what I'm saying, because we got that.
And me and you we always go round and round. You got a different way of thinking. I got a different way of thinking.
But that's not what I'm asking.
Like
let me ask it, though.
Well, go ahead.
I keep hearing that there are rules in place in your contract that then stops you from being able to do certain things because you have to follow the rules, which I get, but isn't it detrimental to the student? Like, shouldn't you be able to get students out of your classroom and get them in the help they need, things of that nature, without always sending them to central office?
Oh, well, I don't know about that. I just know that there are situations where teachers are sending them out of the classroom because they're disrupting the class, or they may even physically jump on the teacher, and the administration is sending them back to the classroom.
Right.
Same teacher. And
so why doesn't the teacher do anything about that? Why doesn't the teacher call the police? Why doesn't the teacher file a complaint against a kid who battered them? What do you mean you can't?
They can't.
What do you mean you can't? So
only administration can do that. That's what they're told.
So if you get beat up by a student, you can't call the police and have the student arrested.
That's right. That's what I was told.
So you would rather follow administrative rules than state law?
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm multitasking at the bank.
You would rather follow your school administrative law than state statutes and allow yourself to be battered and then not do anything about it because you're a teacher and the administration says so?
Right.
Okay.
Your job is on the line if you don't follow central.
But why would you work somewhere who has such? Okay. All right. Well, thank you much. I appreciate it, Hetty.
Why would I work somewhere?
Nope,
Why would you
I'm
work
done.
at your job?
Well, I don't get beat.
Okay.
Thank you. 833-212-1017 is the number. Losing my job as a Milwaukee police officer. If they told me not to say something and it was detrimental and someone's getting beat or hurt and it's a crime, I'm sworn to actually speak up. You are a mandatory reporter, and you're telling me that the administration told you not to mandatorily report on yourself being a victim of a felony?
Yeah, I think there was some, maybe she misunderstood, because anytime there is a student issue of that magnitude, administration knows to get in touch with downtown, and there's protocols and all of that.
But administration should not be the only person that's able to call. And what she's saying is that administration has to call for you. I don't think so.
Yeah, I would think they would, right? If if an incident happens in the classroom.
No. I'm talking about me having the right to call. Forget administration.
I mean, but if you're inside a school classroom and an incident happens, you're not. I mean,
where I'm the victim and you get to decide whether or not I'm a victim.
I mean, you can't call the police and tell the principal,
Yes,
"Hey,
I can.
I just called the police on this child."
Then you need to take my job. Then I'm gonna give up my job.
There's protocol.
I don't care.
So
there's no protocol against me being a victim.
No,
that would actually violate your civil rights. And I'm not a lawyer, but the fact that you're telling me that I can't be a victim.
No, I don't
It's
think
against the law to batter a teacher.
No, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying
I want to say this too, though, but in twofold.
That's why I'm not a teacher.
Right, exactly. But there was I think about the union side of things, and I think when we're talking about educators, again, I love my mom. My mom was an educator, so I want to be very clear. My sister's an assistant principal in Georgia.
Absolutely.
I absolutely
adore teachers.
I think where we have mishap is getting rid of bad teachers, and I think when you were talking about unions, that's the issue I have, and I see when there's someone that potentially should not be teaching our children for whatever reason, then there's hiccups with that.
Right.
And I think I had a principal, I won't say his name, but they're a principal, and we were talking one time, and they were like, they wanted to get rid of a bad teacher, and then he was told because that teacher went to the union or something to this magnitude, he no longer can even evaluate the teacher until the process was over. And that teacher was allowed to continue to teach in his school, knowing that they were not adequately sufficient to be a teacher.
Right.
But as a teacher, he had to deal with that. So you hear stories like that, and I believe union to the young lady's point who just hung up. Yes, representation it's very important.
Oh yeah.
And my mom and my sister would tell me all the time why the unions are, but in the same vein, the issue I have is when it's bad teachers, and that's where I have a problem.
But some of those rules, that same representation in the contract, only helps the superintendent and the administration, not the teacher. So for you to sign over a constitutional, like there are some things you sign over as a law enforcement officer, your constitutional rights, right? Anytime, for instance, anytime I come into a police facility as a police officer, you can go in my locker, go in any bag I carry, search anything you want. I lose those rights when I'm in uniform or out of at work. But if somebody battered me at work and they said, well, don't report it.
Yeah, I don't think that's what happens. And again, I think she understated because any issue that is a battery on a teacher is reported. I think to that point, and Kyle alluded to this earlier, the protocol side of things.
Right.
So something happens, security is called, administrator is notified, then I'm not saying the teacher can't call, but I think the way it goes is administrative has to call on your behalf. And
I would hope so.
Yeah, I think so.
I would hope so. But when you say a teacher can't call, that's problematic for me. 833-212-1017 is the number. Before we go to break, Sir Chance said, if that kid has a dangerous weapon, such as a knife or firearm, I bet she'll change her tune and call the cops then. Probably not. Probably notify administration.
I hope she will call.
But again, I literally know people that are in MPS, that are teachers, that are literally quitting and changing. Like they're like, this is my last year, I'm done.
Yeah, you hear that a lot. But you know what's funny?
No, I mean they've already.
You hear that every year.
They've already found the other job,
right?
Applied, got it, and they're leaving.
Yeah, and that's because I believe education still continues to get a really, really bad rap.
But they're in it. I'm not talking about people outside. They're in education, and they're saying, "Gotta go."
Well, in circumstances, in situations, and unfortunately, like for Milwaukee. And we talked about this earlier, and Kyle might have said this, but if you come to teach in Milwaukee, there's certain layers because of some of the system issues. And I would say that, system issues. But you don't see that same kind of folks leaving their teaching career in the suburban districts, right? Like there's layers, and that's part of the problem.
But there's different, and for those who do leave the suburban areas, a lot of times it's dealing with the hierarchy of the expectations and the things that you just get sick of. I know somebody who's a teacher in a suburban district. She told me 2 weeks ago. She said, "I'm trying to get up out of here. It's not about the kids. It's about test scores and all this and that." And so, there's issues in all districts, and just so happens with MPS that one of the biggest issues is the fact that students don't always they have other things that they have to deal with. So more comes with being an educator in the city.
Can I do this real quick? Shout out to Dr. Juan Baez, who's the principal at Milwaukee School of Languages. I believe his school was acknowledged as a blue ribbon school.
That's excellent.
Yes.
That's a big deal.
Yes.
That's huge,
That's
yo.
a big
And my brother,
deal.
he took over, was it 4 years ago? But just to say, right, like, and this is the shout out to MPS as a whole. And I think, again, we get caught up in a lot of the negativity, but there's great things happening in our district, right?
No, so you're incorrect. They're phenomenal.
Thank you. Thank you. Word choice matter, right? And phenomenal. And we got to do a better job of talking about it. I know as we talk about the issues that happen sometimes, but the teachers getting swung off on doesn't happen like every day, y'all. Like, it's not happening. Like, there may be some behavior.
But that's the picture we paint.
That's the picture we paint. Remember I talked about this, changing narratives?
Yep.
Like, and this is one of the areas. There are issues in the district. I'm not going front, but there are, to your point, phenomenal things happen. So I had to shout out to my man, Dr. Juan Baez, Milwaukee School of Languages. If you have if you haven't been there, go check them out. If you got a middle school kid or a high school kid, you want a phenomenal school.
They're fighting to get in.
Go check them out. Holla
Fighting to get in. 833-212-1017 is the number. You're listening to Truth Roundtable. Kyle Wallace, Linnell Ramey. I'm Dr. Ken Harris. Traffic, sports, and weather up next.
More of The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Locked inside every Wisconsinite is a unique code shaped by genetics, environment, and lifestyle. This code makes you uniquely you and holds clues to your predisposition to certain illnesses like diabetes, cancer, or depression. When you join the All of Us research program, you help researchers study ways to improve healthcare and receive health information that matters to you. Learn more. Visit allofus.wis.edu or call 888-294-2661. Answers are in All of Us.
After a serious crash with a semi-truck, everything can change instantly. Your future, your family's future, your quality of life. That's why knowledge and results matter in big truck cases. And not all law firms have the know-how or the resources to handle these complicated cases. At Gruber Law Offices, we have the experience it takes to make sure you're protected. And there's never a fee until we win your case. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here.
I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy. You know what? We should make an emergency communication plan. That way we're ready this year. At my dorm, we have emergency kits for earthquakes and wildfires, but I'm sure there's something more local I can send you with a link.
Okay.
Smart.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Kids across America are going to school hungry. Millions of kids every day. Hungry kids get sick more often and can struggle in school. It can be harder for them to focus and learn. But one simple thing can help change all of this for a hungry child in America. Good healthy food and the energy it brings. With help from caring people across America, No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures.
We want to ensure that all of our kids have healthy meals every day.
Thank you.
Thank you for helping feed our kids.
To learn more about ending child hunger in America, go to helpnokidhungry.org today.
They're working themselves out right now. We do still have a little bit of a heavy ride southbound 43 south of Capitol Drive all the way down into the Marquette. Westbound 94 looks great through the stadium all the way out to the Zoo interchange, all clear. The eastbound side is a little bit heavy in pockets coming in from 68th Street through the stadium. And then on the southbound bypass, a little bit slow from the Zoo interchange down to about Lincoln Avenue. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, mostly cloudy, a low of 42. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, showers are likely with a high of 53. From the WTMJ traffic Traffic Center. I'm Debbie Lazaga on 101.7 The Truth.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 101.7 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Greg Matzik. The Packers begin the day with 3 selections in rounds 2 and 3 of the NFL Draft, including picks number 42 and 45 overall. With the 13th overall pick, the Packers select defensive end Lucas Van Ness from Iowa.
He did play like 1,000 snaps in the last 2 years, but it's 2 years of football. He redshirted his first year. So I just think there's a lot of growth there, and the physical traits are all there for him to grow, so there's no real limitation on him.
Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst. Rounds 4 through 7 will take place on Saturday. Brewers and Angels begin a 3-game series at American Family Field tonight. Hear the game on 620 WTMJ with coverage beginning at 6:07. And in the NBA, the Los Angeles Lakers and Golden State Warriors will advance to the second round of the NBA playoffs with wins tonight. This sports update presented by Associated Bank, proudly supporting our hometown teams. Member FDIC.
This is the Truth Roundtable on the new 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Girl, words can't express the way I feel for you. The way you hold me. Everything you do to me, you know I like.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Hey, remember, join the Truth Team. That's tomorrow, our Tory Lowe Community Cleanup. 3 locations tomorrow are the Milwaukee Fire Station at 1551 North 30th Street, 8 o'clock a.m. Central City Cyber School, 4301 North 44th Street at 9:30. And St. Anne's Center, 2450 West North Avenue at 11 a.m. Everyone who gets a Truth shirt and a free lunch. Do we get hats too?
The bucket hat? You want a bucket hat?
Yeah, I want a bucket hat. I've been waiting on it. Everybody. Anyway, lunch is provided by Cousin Subs. The Truth Community Cleanup is sponsored by St. Anne's Center, the best intergenerational care in Milwaukee. Cousin Subs. Better bread, better subs. Cousins Subs. 833-212-1017 is the number. We are broadcasting live on Twitter and YouTube. Just hit 101.7 The Truth, and we'll be live. And well, actually, put live in. That way you'll see little old me and Linnell Ramey and Kyle Wallace here on Truth Roundtable. Thank you, Rhea. Appreciate you. 833-212-1017 is the number. By the way, we're also got a new Instagram page, so make sure you follow us and make sure you get us right there. So I'm just saying. Did I do enough, Kyle Wallace, boss man?
You did great. That new Instagram page. Shout out to Dr. Ken Harris for shouting this out, but also shout out to Carrie Noni for the great content that she's creating to start the week. And at the end of the week, you can get a weekly recap on 101.7 The Truth. All the hot content that we talked about during the week. So shout out to her, killing it.
All the fights and all the stuff.
There was some fights this week.
Oh yeah. So it looks like we must have struck a nerve because now the phones are lighting up.
Right, we don't get to talk about debt and credit cards now. I know we ain't gonna have time for it.
We're gonna quickly talk about it because we still got another break. So in the last segment, we'll talk about debt and going to school and
all that good stuff.
All that good stuff. Denise, you're on the new 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
How are you men doing today?
We're doing great. Well, I don't know. It depends on what you say. We might be doing okay, or we might not be doing okay.
In my day and time, I didn't graduate from high school. I had a lot of different things going on in the family. But nevertheless, and my mother, she didn't push us to go to school or anything like that. But you were saying about your dad's people, and that's what my dad's people did. They all went to college down south. But nevertheless, the thing is that I'm talking about in regards to myself and what I did. I searched around, and I got into different trades. Like Kyle Wallace was saying, there's trades out here that people can take. Everybody's not college material. So I went into machine tooling first. I didn't care for that. Lathes, mills, CNCs, and I should have stuck with the CNC. But anyway, so I switched over to graphic arts. went to Milwaukee Graphic Arts Institute and got, certified in desktop publishing and other graphic-related fields. But the thing about graphic arts back then was that they were very, 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 very prejudiced. And in one education I had to go to, because we had a union, I had to go to the union, which was Local 577, and tell what was occurring on the job, which was just brutal prejudicing and discrimination. So they wrote a whole different manual because of the letter that I presented to the president of the union. So, in dealing with even going out after whatever educational, achievements that you have acquired, we have to let the people know, what is going to be in some of these different job area fields, what the encounters will be. And not only that, but let the people know, young people know that there are other areas that you can gravitate to. I did non-traditional trades at MATC. That's what I went off into. So, like I said, then I did real estate and some, other little securities and stuff like that. But there are things that people can do if they don't go to college.
But you remember, you went through MATC. You did go to college.
Yeah, I did. Actually, I went through MATC's program.
Doesn't matter. It's college. It's college.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I went to Milwaukee Graphic Arts.
There you go.
But I just want to put that out there that you can achieve even if you don't have a high school diploma. That's what I want to let you know. Thank you so much, Candy, for having this subject, because I tell you, I had to go through some hurdles and, just jumps and maneuvers. But I did do something with my life, and now I'm a minister, so that too.
Look at you.
Bible college.
Thank you much.
God bless.
All right. 833-212-1017 is the number. Thoughts?
Well, I think you said it best. Like, she kept saying she didn't go to college, but she said she went to MATC.
Right.
Like, I think we got to
change that narrative of the only college is a 4-year school.
No, like you this is a great opportunity. Like, no, you went to an MATC college program.
Right.
And I want people to understand the magnitude of that. That means you had to still sit in class somewhere. Yep. You had a professor. Yep. You took notes. You took a test.
Don't care if it was 6 months, 9 months, or 12 months.
It still was, right? And like we have to build on that and reinforce the value that continual learning is important. It doesn't mean you end up with a bachelor's, a master's, or a PhD. But if you come out of that with a certificate, you're moving yourself forward.
And you still have to get trained every year because you got to get recertified.
And one of those college classes.
So you're still going.
Yeah, you got to.
That continuing ed is,
So
that's fire. Before we go to break, 833-212-1017, Black Conscience. You're the new 1017 The Truth.
Yo, Doc, long time no hear from.
What's up?
Yeah, I am pursuing to finish my college degree. So I am now focused that Aaron Rodgers has moved on. By the way, I'm having an Aaron Rodgers jersey burning ceremony. All are welcome. And I can really focus now that the Bucs have lost, and we could take down that prison gate, because it made it look like a prison yard. And yeah, I'm really excited about that.
All right. So what are you getting your degree in?
Me going back to college. Say that again.
What are you getting your degree in? What are you getting your degree in?
Business management.
Okay.
And how long has it been since you have graduated high school?
Yeah, so I started, but then, how us youngins do it. We take a break. And
Understood.
So, I got maybe 2 years to go to finish that degree.
Congratulations.
Outstanding.
Thank you, sir.
You do know the fact that you started.
Milwaukee.
All right, thank you, brother.
Great. I just want to say shout out to Black Conscience for that.
And the fact that you started puts you in the 99th percentile, like instantaneously, of finishing, because the starting is what most people don't do.
And I want to correlate this for people, and in the sense of, and we just mentioned a little while ago, this is not about saying, oh, he's going to college, so just great. It's no, he decided to go back and finish.
Right.
When someone does an apprenticeship and they finish and are journeymen, congratulations, that's dope too.
Absolutely.
That's the piece I think I want to get the narrative to be like, whatever one, just finish. Right. Like when you do apprenticeship program, to me, that's on-site learning. That's a different kind of college to me. Right. But I think that's the piece I want to make sure I communicate, because all of it is so important, and it shouldn't be, to your point, an or. It's and. Like, you can do both. That's okay.
And that piece of paper you got on the wall is everything. 833-212-1017 is the number. When we come back, we got to get to this credit thing because
that's a whole nother round table.
Law,
and
paying your loans and all that stuff.
More of The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, the locations are set and it's time to clean up our city. Join me and the Truth team on Saturday, April 29th for our community cleanup. Go to truthcommunitycleanup.com to volunteer and help keep Milwaukee clean. Everyone who joins gets a Truth shirt, a bucket hat, and a free lunch. Torilo Community Cleanup is sponsored by St. Anne's Center, the best intergenerational care in Milwaukee, and Cousins Subs. Better bread, better subs, Cousins Subs.
This is your Financial Empowerment Minute on the new 1017 The Truth, presented by Northwestern Mutual.
You know how it is in the financial world, same way within the sales or whatever, there's always this idea that this is a one-time offer. If you do this today,
right,
then your whole these sales will always come back. These things will always come back, opportunities. It's really important to try not to make financial decisions if you can the same day. Talk to some people that you respect, you care, you have high regard for. I think just not doing things the same day is important. It's so important you try to have at least a couple times in a month that you sit and think through your bills, okay, and where you're going. And another little small mindset hack that can work with this is to, before you make purchases, is this in line with my commitments? Right. But the question is, what are your commitments today? Well, same thing when you're purchasing things, right? How is this decision going to be in line with my overall commitments or goals? It's just a little simple mind hack you can also do.
Tune into The Truth every month for our financial empowerment interviews with Northwestern Mutual.
Reaching out for support is an important step that takes courage. At Ascension, Wisconsin, our mental health professionals are committed to delivering compassionate support and care at every step through personalized substance use disorder programs. Ready for recovery? We're here to listen and offer compassionate support. Start your recovery with our team by your side. Call 855-830-WELL, which is 855-830-9355.
When it comes to riding the bus, there's a better way to pay. It's Wisco, Milwaukee County Transit System's new modern fare collection system. Wisco is available as a card and in the UMO app, and is packed with features to make paying for your rides faster, easier, more reliable, and more affordable. So make the switch to Wisco and start enjoying the better way to pay. Learn more about the exciting changes at ridemcts.com/Wisco or download the UMO app.
April is Financial Literacy Month, and according to the FINRA, 60% of Wisconsin residents can't answer basic financial literacy questions, and over half are living paycheck to paycheck. Secure Futures is here to change this by equipping teens with transformative money management skills to help teens reach their financial goals and keep their families and communities economically secure. Join Secure Futures and change a teen's life today as a volunteer or supporter. For more information or to learn how to get involved, visit securefutures.org.
More of The Truth Roundtable is next on the new 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. We got a few more minutes left. Truth Roundtable, Linnell Ramey from Mentor Milwaukee, and our very own Director of Content, Mr. Kyle Wallace. Mark said, I've been bouncing in and out of this segment. Apologies. Is there an initiative for introduction into the trades for us? I mean, because the city will give incentives to contractors while willing to train interested individuals. This includes architecture, urban planning, acquiring a skill set, but you need the individuals. No, it's not a show about that. It's a show about that and going to college and getting an education. And even when we do that, somebody has to pay for that. And it comes down to school loans and bad credit because you now have. So initially we talked about credit card debt or school loan debt. Which one is worse?
Credit card debt. Credit card debt.
Second.
credit card debt. It's not even close for me.
But the thing is, if I'm young enough, I could file bankruptcy, get rid of all my credit card debt.
That sounds
listen.
That sounds dangerous.
Listen.
Not something I want to preach.
Hang on. Get rid of all my credit card debt and then be done. School loan,
don't go nowhere.
Unless there are very, very specific, narrow reasons why you file bankruptcy, you cannot get out from under it. In the state of Wisconsin, if you die, your spouse, if you're married,
has your school loan debt.
Yeah, yes.
Oh, we getting divorced.
You silly.
I was called. I
But
love
you're not
you.
married,
I
so.
love you.
And I hope I'm wrong, but I heard that there's some strange things that go on in the state of Wisconsin.
Here's my thing about bankruptcy. I am not very informed on bankruptcy, but I do know it's a very scary thing to think about, and what that bankruptcy label does to a young person trying to do other things. I don't know. I just know I've been told bankruptcy, Chapter 11, whatever it is. I just know that it just is a scary thing. So I don't even want to get nowhere near that. And so I just feel like,
it's better to have bad credit, work 2 or 3 jobs, get it paid off and be done, than to file bankruptcy and have it on your
per se
for 10 years. But here's the key. If all you've got is that 10 years and when you're done, you get a redo,
and you're able to
if
survive.
I'm 20 or 25, I can survive that.
Okay.
If I'm 65, I don't have to worry about surviving that.
So bankruptcy has a lot of different lanes.
Yep. And most millionaires and billionaires have filed bankruptcy
so when we
multiple times.
Yes. It's a negative,
it's a tool.
It's a negative connotation for us when you don't have much.
Yes.
But the truth of the matter is, there's people who get bankruptcy who move on without blinking of an eye. So it may be on there for 10 years, but you're able to move forward and other things you do. But to your point, credit card debt, but we're taught things. We're taught things in a way that we don't understand all options.
Right.
Whether that's paying off credit card debt, whether that's filing for bankruptcy, when to do it, how to do it. That's an issue within a community that needs better, again, financial literacy.
And knowing what you can and can't do after you file.
So if I file bankruptcy at 23,
well, it depends on what kind. Are you filing reorganization or are you filing
what's gonna keep me from being able? Because if I don't have access to much capital, and in order for me to get that capital, I have to apply for potential loans. Will that hold me back from getting that access to that capital? And even grants, I don't know if grants look at that as well, but would that hurt me trying to get that capital?
Yes.
So I'm basically putting not my life on hold, but I'm limiting myself to the resources that I could potentially have to build myself in my 20s because I filed bankruptcy.
And when you're in your 30s, you start over just like you were in your 20s when you didn't have any credit.
But that's lost time. It's like I couldn't imagine.
Sure.
I couldn't imagine. The biggest regret I have is not
that's
doing.
You're only in your 30s.
Oh yeah, but one of the biggest regrets I have is not doing any type of investing or any type of trying to find that. I started early, but not doing the other things early enough. I feel like I missed out. Oh man, I could have did that. I could have had
another 60 years to your life. What are you even talking about?
But I still missed out on time.
But
right?
you do realize there's people in your 30s right now who still they scratching their head like, what is he even talking about?
Right.
That's the problem. So when you think about the issue of credit card debt, I use me as an example. By the time I was 23, 3 kids, thinking about getting married, I had to really flip the script and be like, hey, man, these credit cards are going to do what they got to do. The next thing I know, I'm $10,000 in debt by the time I'm 25. So credit card debt but it's about financial literacy at the end of the day. How do we teach good debt, bad debt, and then how to recover from those debts?
Yep.
No, I agree with good debt, bad debt. And debt can be good, as he's saying, like investments in taking on some debt that could at the end build some type of wealth for you. That's the type of debt that you should be trying to get. Like anytime you can, getting a house, we always talk about that. A house, it's a lot of debt, but you can sell that house and you can make money back from that as well.
Who teaches that?
Very true.
Who teaches that?
Not enough people.
Not enough. Final thoughts, 30 seconds.
It's just important for us, 2 things. Understand your debt. Understand what good debt is, bad debt. Understand why renting a house for $1,500 a month when you could probably own one for $1,100. Like, figure that out.
Oh, but the maintenance.
Yeah, and the maintenance, right. Figure it out. Second thing, let's stop putting our kids in one bucket and say they can't learn. Stop saying or, say and let's give them options, whether trade or whether college.
All right.
And then I'll say, like you said, debt is necessary in order for you to get some type of credit. I lived through that myself where I could not get a credit card because I was like, my credit score was low because I didn't have any debt. And so that's an opportunity. But then on that, for education-wise, I really love the conversation that we had because we're focusing on potential solutions and building up our students and building up our future. So this is just exciting that people are so engaged in this conversation.
All right. You heard it, Truth Roundtable. Linnell Ramey, Mentor Milwaukee, thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate you, Fred.
Kyle Wallace.
What's your final thought?
My final thought is that unless we change this, nothing's going to change. So my plan is sometime in July, I'm going to have a meeting that I'll be talking about on The Truth with some folks in Milwaukee, a big group that they'll be invited. It'll be a little elitist, but
hey, that's how you get things done, though.
And that's how you get things done. We'll be coming up. So you're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris, Truth Roundtable. Thank you, Rhea. Appreciate you. Tori Lowe Show is coming up next, along with All Weekend. You'll be listening to the rebroadcast. Tori Lowe Community Cleanup is tomorrow, starting at 8 o'clock. So get up, wake up, rain or shine. We're going to be cleaning up the streets. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. God bless. Take care. I'll see you Monday at 4. I'm out.